Welcome to the Outer Darkness Happy Hour podcast. We're John and Ashley.
This is not your typical Exmo Nevermo podcast.
We're here to share our stories, but we want to hear yours.
So grab a drink and pull up a chair and let's talk about life in the outer darkness. Hi, welcome to the Outer Darkness Happy Hour podcast. I'm Ashley.
I'm John.
I am what you would call a Nevermo. That means I've never been Mormon.
I'm an ex-Mormon, also called ex-Mo or post-Mo.
Today, we're going to do our fourth episode called Temple of Doom, chronicling John's first few years after coming back from his mission and some fun stories along the way. I think you guys will enjoy.
I'm already giggling
Yeah,
about
you're giggling. So what was life like right after your mission?
So if you've been following us, episode 2, I go over my deaf speaking mission in Seoul, Korea. I went to Seoul, Korea on my mission. Part of that was being a sign language missionary. Worked in the temple as well, so it was a very incredible mission time, incredible experience for me. Check out episode 2 if you want to check that out.
Yeah.
But so coming home as a missionary, there's something that we typically call a missionary high. You get home and you just think everyone's got to be a member of the church, and members can work harder and bring in more investigators, and you're kind of this weird missionary high that you just want everyone to be a member of the church, right? Because it's such a regimented lifestyle as a missionary. You wake up at 6 a.m, you have prayer, you sing a song with the other missionaries, you read the scriptures. So sure enough, the first couple of months after my mission, I was acting like a missionary.
You were selling your new favorite brand of drug to everybody, right?
I was, yes.
That's basically, you say the missionary high.
Yeah.
You want everybody to feel as
be
awesome
high,
as
just
you
like
do.
me.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll be happy if you're just like me. Yeah. So you come back feeling like you're kind of a spiritual giant, a little judgy of others, other members that could be better.
That tends to go along with every religion, though. I feel like every religion, when you're immersed in it, you're kind of drinking the Kool-Aid, you feel like you have this secret that you want to share with everybody so they can be just as happy and righteous as you are, right?
Oh, the programming is deep.
Yeah.
It's real, very, very real. And before I left Korea to come home, our last day in the mission field, all the missionaries are leaving together. We slept over at the mission president's house because we were leaving to the airport the next day. And our meeting that night, it was like our last night in Seoul, Korea. So it was very emotional for a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
And I remember him specifically telling us our next phase in our life is to have children. And of course, I think they called it to multiply and replenish the earth, which means our next step after the mission as a 21-year-old is to get married.
Yeah, because Lord knows there's not enough people on earth.
Correct.
You need to go forth and make more.
But
right?
I honestly remember I'm sitting there, I'm in my missionary garb, I'm going home soon, and he mentions that. And I remember the thought I had was, wow, to do that, I need to have sex. I'm like,
yay!
You're saying there's a chance.
Yay!
Like, I'm going to actually have sex. That's awesome.
I think that's probably why a lot of kids rush into marriage when they grew up in religion, right? Like, finally, you can do that one forbidden thing without, being cursed forever.
Yeah. So I did this stereotypical thing you always do when you get off your mission. You marry the first person you date. And I dated this gal who was also a missionary in Korea. She came home earlier than I did. She was a little bit 2 years older than I was.
That's typical, right?
Yeah. And we had the only thing really had in common was our mission, right? She's Korean. I spent 2 years, more of my hornier years of my life from 19 to 21
in Korea.
In Korea, right? So I get this attractive Korean gal who's interested in me, and I was interested in her, and she invited me over to her parents' house, and I made them like a Korean dish. I really wanted to impress them, so I showed up with a bunch of ingredients, and I made this dinner for.
Did it work?
It did. The only funny thing about that is that they never heard of the dish that I was making for them.
So I
thought it was a common dish. And
funny.
So that was pretty embarrassing. But 21 years old, just got married just like that. And I felt bad when I look back at it now because there was no proposal. We just kind of...
You just kind of agreed to get married?
We just kind of agreed to get married.
Yeah.
I didn't have a freaking ring. I didn't even propose with a ring. I mean, I was barely...
But you're
I was
young.
21 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was horny. And the only way to have sex is if I can get through the temple.
You were in love.
I was in love. The doctor said I was in love.
Yeah.
So we had to prepare for our temple wedding.
Okay, so here's the thing. When you were first explaining to me the temple wedding, I had no idea that you had a private ceremony in a temple that family could not attend unless they had their temple recommend, correct? Like
Yeah.
a special card that says you're righteous enough to walk into this temple and watch these people get married.
Yeah.
So Mormon weddings usually have a temple wedding, but then they have a reception afterwards where everybody can come, right? So it's like a two-step
to
thing.
Explain this to the never-mo's out there, like you and the rest out there. To get into the temple, you need to have what they call a temple recommend, and you need to be a member for over a year, upstanding member. You need to be active in your church calling, going to church, obviously,
tithing,
paying your tithing.
Yeah.
They check on are you paying 10% or not. If you check all those boxes, you get a temple recommend. The bishop signs it off, then you go to the stake president and he signs it off, and you have a card. You get you into the freaking temple now, right? So you have to be pretty much a pretty an upstanding, active Mormon to go to the temple. So when I arranged to get married with my first wife, my dad at the time was not an active member of the church, so he ended up staying outside of in the lobby, and he was in the waiting room basically during
in the heathen room.
Yeah, during our wedding reception.
Yeah.
What I thought was funny is like the church had no problem with my dad paying for my mission. It was like $550 a month or something like that. So he paid for the mission. I get home, I arranged to get married in the temple, and he can't show up to the actual wedding ceremony because he wasn't paying his tithing. He wasn't an active member, wasn't going to church all the time. So I do feel a lot of guilt about that.
Was that a thought though at the time, or did you kind of feel like he should have been towing the line and following the rules to be in your weddings? I mean, you were Mormon, you were fresh off your mission. Didn't you kind of feel like only people should have, like, you should only have a temple recommend if you earn it? I mean, it's a class system. It's very much a class system.
I feel guilty about it now. Back then I didn't. I'm like, oh, well, he didn't do it.
He
didn't really pay tithing. He wasn't really active, and that's just how it is, right? We're getting married in the eyes of God, and if he doesn't check all these boxes off, it's his fault, right? So that's what the programming does. I always say the programming is deep, and it runs really, really deep. And so, at that time, so obviously years later, after I eventually left the church and became an ex-Mormon, I look back at that going, God, what the hell was I thinking? How awful is that?
Speaking of what the hell were you thinking, tell me a little bit about certain, you have your temple recommends, but there's ceremony secrets. Now, this is very, I don't know,
culty?
Knights Templar, kind of Indiana Jones. There's some stuff, I won't call it weird. I want to be respectful.
Yeah.
But growing up not being religious and hearing some of the things they had to do, it was odd,
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
I won't go into, I guess I will go into a little bit of detail about the temple sessions. When you get married, you're going to the temple for the first time with your soon-to-be spouse. You are given a name, and it's typically a biblical or Book of Mormon name, and that's your spiritual name. It's kind of it's symbolic for like a spiritual rebirth and your reconnection to God with this new spiritual name. And for the longest time, I thought it was just inspiration that as you show up and the old guy's giving you this prayer and he tells you your name, I thought that was just mine and no one else had that name at all. And I found out later on that every month they just switch out the names. They just throw the month of June, you're Abraham, the month of July, you're Moses or Noah, that kind of thing. So
that explains the secrecy. Can't tell anybody your name.
Yeah. So it was a little odd, but and that new name that you have is a key word that you need to remember when you go up to the veil after you do your temple session to get into the metaphorical celestial kingdom, which is all white. You need to give them that name.
So it's your secret password.
Moses.
Your name is your
Moses. That was Moses. Yeah, but you need to remember that name. So when you go to the veil, you that's where you divulge that name to God on the other side of the veil. And that's literally you're supposed to say that after you die. After you die, you go up to the veil, and you have to remember all of those ordinances in the temple to actually return to the presence of Heavenly Father. And that's that key word. And you're not supposed to divulge any of this stuff, by the way. You're not supposed to divulge any of your new names, all that kind of crazy stuff. But the more you step away from it, the more you realize it's just how.
I don't think anybody's going to drag us away in the night. So
we're already doing an Outer Darkness happy hour podcast. I don't think I'm coming back anytime soon. So, me divulging my awesome Moses names isn't going to change anything.
That's a great name, though.
But
if you're going to get a name.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
a
most
good
isn't
one.
bad.
Yeah.
But there's changing of the clothing, and you got to put like a green apron on to represent your nakedness in the Garden of Eden. You're trying to cover your nakedness, and it's a lot of really crazy stuff. I think one of the weirdest things for me, actually, there's a couple of them, um, is the true order of prayer. And there's an altar at the front of the temple session in the room, and where men and women line up. Well, they circle around this altar while the old guy is up there praying. I won't go into that to why he's praying, but so we're all hand in hand. We're doing these weird, crazy handshakes, and our hands are up on the up to the square. And so you're in this kind of connected circle, standing around this altar. And for this to even happen, the women have to pull the veil over their face. They have a veil wrapped behind in their part of their hat. They have to undo that and place a veil over them because it's a priesthood ordinance, and because they're women, they don't hold the priesthood. So hence the veil protects them from.
Well, I mean, we are the root of all evil,
Correct.
So it's probably better.
I always thought that was so weird. Then the other thing about the slitting of the throat and just things like that. Of course, I went there in the early 90s. I thought that was normal. Again, the programming just runs really deep. You don't really think much about it. And that's one of the preparation things that I remember now as I'm talking about is when you're taking your prep classes to go to the temple for the first time, they do mention that. Don't worry about all the things that you're going to see. They try and like prepare you to not freak out because it's so freaky.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
When you were explaining it to me, okay. A lot of people will throw the word cult out.
Can I have this now?
And for a good reason. Well, I thought maybe we're going to save it kind of towards the end.
Okay.
I didn't want to bring up the name, but you can go ahead and have a drink.
Oh, it's just talking about this.
You know what?
Helps.
Let's go ahead and share it. It's fine because we're flying by the seat of our pants here. This is a Malaysian themed cocktail, and you'll find out in a little bit why we're doing one. We call it the Temple of Doom. We have a recipe card we'll throw up in the video probably right now. And I have an instructional video that'll have released a few days before this episode. So it's a fun drink. It's yummy. It's strong. So I suggest using the lemon lime soda to kind of weaken it a little bit.
Yeah.
It just makes it nice and refreshing instead of, wow, super strong. So here we go.
Cheers to Moses.
Cheers. Cheers
to
Moses.
the new name. Oh my gosh. It's good. So back to talking about the temple.
Now that you've had your drink.
Now that I've had my drink, I can be a little more relaxed about it. But yeah, a lot of weird symbolic things that happen inside the temple. The majority of it was stolen from the Masonic temple.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why I said when you were explaining it to me, that is why all the like Knights Templar and Masonic, like all that popped into my head because it's almost like
identical.
that. Yeah.
So if you want to see what's actually going on in the Mormon temple, just look up the Masonic temple, and it's almost the same rituals, same ordinances, covenants, all that crap.
I mean, that kind of plays. Every religion is like that, though. Every religion takes stuff from religions or organizations that came before it. It's just how it has been since the beginning of time. Yeah. So it's not that shocking. Yeah,
but the slitting of the throat and the slitting of the bowels.
That one's a little shocking.
It's been a while, but I think that's symbolic. That's what will happen to you. You'll commit suicide if you divulge any of these tokens and signs and all the weird ordinances in the temple. So they just scare the living shit out of you.
Do they do that one anymore though?
No, they removed that in the early 2000s. They removed that because it's so violent, right? Yeah. Even though God's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow, right? He's never changing, but the ordinances, we have to change those.
Religion.
So we get married. I'm 21. She's 23. And I think we dated like 6 months, and it just got off to a bad start. It just did not go well. Just a lot of problems. Then we go to the bishop to talk about it. We had one bishop ask us just outright. He's like, "So are you guys having oral sex?"
That's a fun thing to talk to your church leader about.
Of course, I don't think anything bad about that. He's a man of God, right? So I said, yeah. And he said, well, I really recommend you avoid oral sex. I'm like, holy God.
On that note, I'm going to take a drink.
I couldn't believe it. No one's ever asked me that before. As a teenager, you're asked weird stuff just with the bishop and you alone talking about masturbation and what do you do with your girlfriend, things like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird, but now I'm married and he's asking me, what are we doing in the bedroom? And that was super, super bizarre for me. But so we abstained from that for a little while. Didn't help at all. So, but we started growing apart rather quickly. I mean, little dumb things like we went out for ice cream and I went inside to get the ice cream. She was outside and I got two flavors, one for me and one for her. And I got coffee flavored ice cream for me.
Yeah, you're like a mocha or something.
Yeah. And I got whatever shit. And I hand it to her and we're like young 21-year-olds, we're talking, licking the ice cream. She's like, what flavor did you get? And I said, yeah, coffee flavored ice cream. And she grabbed it out of my hand, walked over to the trash and threw it away. I'm all, what the heck? I'm like, it's not real coffee, hon. It's not coffee.
It's
She's
ice
like,
cream.
well, we need to avoid the appearance of evil. It's what she said. So that was a big thing in our household. We need to avoid the appearance of evil. So not even coffee flavored ice cream that you could have.
So just conflicting personalities and senses of humor.
Yeah.
And kind of views, right, of the church, really, the rules and.
Yeah. And even as a missionary, I was a really good missionary, but I wasn't like staunch weird about it. I was pretty flexible with the rules for the most part, but I was so busy. But I think those are the more successful missionaries, the ones that weren't so strict about the rules and anal about it. And then you get those that like us who were kind of more flexible and easygoing. We were great. We had a great time as a missionary.
You're salespeople. Essentially, you're salespeople. And to make a sale, you have to be personable and approachable and and open. So that's why it works better if you're not stuffy and rigid.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I think another thing is what really split us apart even more. And again, a lot of this is not her fault. She loves the church more than anything. She has a strong testimony, whatever that means nowadays. But and I was going the other way. When she got a job working for the church, and that really changed the tone of our marriage. She just got worse. And I remember telling her, I'm like, you realize if we were like evangelical Christians, we'd have crosses and crucifix.
Yeah.
And Jesus is all over the place because when she'd go to the church office building. She worked there she's still there now. She absolutely just fell in love with it. She just loves it more than anything. She'd come home talking about one of the leaders that she happened to be in the elevator with, and how in awe she was, and how he's so human and funny and nice. And I remember looking back going, you have a thing for him? Because you won't shut up about this dude.
She's enamored by his presence and his status, right?
Yeah.
The status in the church.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, when you guys got married, and you're being a return missionary, she probably thought you were fairly aligned in the strength of your beliefs.
Yeah.
But anybody who's been married for a while, both of us had longer first marriages. You had 20 years, I had 16. You naturally grow, and you either grow together or you grow apart. And as far as your religious beliefs went, you definitely grew apart pretty quick, or forked. You came to a fork in the road, and she went one way and you went the other.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the church cafeteria.
Oh, so again, she's now working at the church now, and a few times I'd go to her office either to drop off something for her. Anyways, they had the church cafeteria on the main floor. And I remember going in there and it was super, super quiet. It was like a library. And I'm thinking, okay, this isn't church. This is a cafeteria. And it was just so quiet. And I remember I was getting lunch there because I was waiting for my wife to come down for something. And where I'm in line and it's where I'm picking up food and stuff. And I go to ask I go to pay for my food. And the person's like, that'll be $9.95. And I just remember going, it's like, all right, do you take credit card?
They're whispering like it's a library.
It's like we're in the temple. It's like, dude, this is a freaking cafeteria. And it was just super quiet and eerie. And I'm looking around going, is there a meeting somewhere that we're trying to be quiet? There's nothing around, but it's this weird, soft, hush voices at a cafeteria. And I feel bad. I'm getting my Diet Coke and it's all loud.
Yeah.
Like, oh, gosh, it's so loud. So,
where's your reverence?
Yeah. She asked that once, actually, after we went on a double date. And I was being mean, just talking a lot and stuff. And at the end of the day at home, she's like, there's a real lack of reverence about you.
that's one of my favorite things about you.
I
Actually,
was
is your
sitting
lack
up
of
going,
reverence.
what? Yeah, there's a lack of reference about you. I'm like, wow.
That's awesome.
Gosh,
Oh
dang.
my gosh.
And what I remember one time living we were now had kids now. We're in this really nice ward in Utah. Someone put on, one of our friends, we had like this group of like 30 people, like 15 couples.
Yeah.
They put on a white trash party, is what they call it. It was called the white trash party.
Yeah.
It was like Halloween, but we all had to arrive at this house dressed up as white trash,
Dressed up
right?
as the lowly regular folk.
Yeah. So we go there. We're all, I think I had a mullet wig and cut off jeans and a cut off shirt and stuff, right? And high socks on and stuff. And of course my wife didn't dress up because it's just not her thing to enjoy life. So everyone else was dressed up as white trash, and we're at the house, and again, they're all Mormon, and the owner, the host, he says, "Oh, we should probably have a prayer first on the food." And all the food was like white trash food. I mean, the theme was white trash. So we had
It's like Cheetos and Doritos.
Yeah, all the
pork rinds.
Exactly. All that crap. I was all over the place, and he like offered up a prayer. And everyone's folding their arms, and I remember looking around going, okay, we're all making absolute fun of other people because it's a white trash
Which
party.
is also right on par with being religious, is being judgmental and making fun of
we're
other
like
people.
judging others who may not have as much as we do. And
Yeah.
I'm looking around, and everyone's got their eyes closed. And
Yeah,
they're, thank you, dear Heavenly Father, what's happening?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, we're all like mocking these people.
Let's pray
Amen.
over the food that we're,
all the junk food we're about to eat.
Let's mock people for not having enough money to buy bougie snacks.
Yeah. I remember saying, this must be the Diet Coke talking, but this is a weird party.
Don't want to hit that Diet Coke too hard.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was an interesting time for me.
Okay, so there's a show that John and I, to kind of change gears a little bit, I'm sure everybody's heard of it, The White Lotus. And it's always takes place in this eerie jungle resort, different resorts all over the world each season, different places. And when we first started the show, I was like, wow, this reminds me of some videos that John showed me back when we were first married about a trip he got to take to Malaysia, hence the themed cocktails
Temple
that we're
of
having.
Doom.
Yeah, he didn't get to have any of these when he was in Malaysia.
No,
though.
I did not.
So he went there for his wife's brother's wedding.
Yeah, my brother-in-law married this gal who's deeply connected to a billionaire family in China, and they live in Malaysia. But so they got married in New York, but they want to have a big wedding in Malaysia. So it was an all-expense paid trip for all of my brother-in-law's family. Hopefully, and thankfully at that time I was part of that group.
Yeah.
They flew us to Kuala Lumpur. We went on Singapore Airlines, which was absolutely incredible. They flew us all to Kuala Lumpur. From there, we spent about 5 days touring Malaysia, and everywhere we went, they owned it. Whether it was the hotel we stayed at, they owned. The restaurants we went to, they owned everything. The shopping malls.
Yeah.
This family owned everything. the bus that picked us up from the airport, this big tourist bus, they own that too. And they had our own personal tour guide and everything. It was unbelievable. Money I've never ever seen before. And so we go to Kuala Lumpur, then we eventually make our way to the coast, and we each get in all the men get in one yacht and the females get in another yacht. And we took 2 yachts to an island that they own called Penggor Laut. It's northwest of Kuala Lumpur, and it's a resort island, and it is gorgeous. It reminds me of Jurassic Park. You think of Jurassic Park?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so before we went to the island, I went to my brother-in-law, right? I'm the brother-in-law, right? So he invites me to their little bachelor party thing.
Okay, they're not Mormon. He didn't marry into a Mormon family.
Correct. My brother-in-law, he left the church
at that time. Right?
My brother-in-law left the church.
Yeah.
He married this gal who was not Mormon at the time. The whole wealthy family, they're not LDS at all, but they were kind enough to bring us all over to Malaysia for this big wedding. But anyways, the night before we went to the island, we had this big. I was part of this big party for my brother-in-law, and all of his buddies, these really wealthy Chinese dudes, and they drag us to this strip club. And it was weird going. I was just with my wife like an hour ago. Now I'm with my brother-in-law,
yeah,
and all of his buddies, and we're in this strip club full of like Chinese and Russian strippers all over the place.
That had to be a culture shock for you, right?
Yeah.
Just coming from not just coming from Utah and being Mormon, but you're also kind of in a restrictive marriage. Like you're not ever going out and doing things like that.
Don't tell my sister any of this. It was one of those nights.
I guess.
Don't tell my sister what we're about to do.
Let's just do a little blanket apology if she ever watches our
watches
this podcast. Yeah, sorry.
So we go to the island itself, which is absolutely gorgeous. We walk in and the lobby area is all open air, right? There's no walls or anything because the weather's beautiful all year round. And we had our own beach house on the coast, and everything was just absolutely gorgeous. And that was a good time. So my brother-in-law's wife, I always was looking at her going, does she know that we're all like Mormon? And at some point, she's going to have to be Mormon at some point. She's going to have to actually get baptized. And so sure enough, like probably 10 years later, my brother-in-law decided to become Mormon again. They got 2 kids now, 1 or 2 kids.
Oh, so they had their kids before they went back into the church.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was, I'm only going to tell one story about this, but because, so we fly to California. This is years later. We fly to California for this big temple wedding, Los Angeles temple. And now we're at the house, family there. It's a big deal, right? They got married in the temple. Everyone's all happy. Now they're married in the eyes of God now, right? Now it's a real marriage,
it's a real marriage.
Now they're locked in. Yeah. And I always wonder, like, how is she going to do this? Because she speaks English, obviously, to us. She speaks fluent Chinese to her mom, German to her dad, and she speaks fluent Spanish as well.
Extremely cultured person.
Very cultured.
Been all over the world.
Been all over the world. Been everywhere. And I'm thinking, how is she going to fit into the whole Mormon culture? I'm not sure how this is going to work or not. So we're at the family party. She needs to go drop off some stuff. And she's like, hey, John, can you come with me? I'm like, yeah, I'll go with you. Sure. So she's driving. I'm the passenger side. She's like, so this is after she got married in the temple. She's now wearing garments now.
Yeah.
And she's now asking me, John, so tell me about this garment thing. I'm like, didn't you take a prep class or anything?
No, but they just, they didn't give her all the details.
Yeah.
She signed the paper
she's
and
like,
then boom.
Yeah, I went to prep class. I didn't understand any of it. When can I not wear these garments? And I said, well, typically if you're doing something physically active, if you're running, yoga, Pilates, you're at the gym, you typically don't wear your garments there, right? It's like kind of like underwear. You don't wear that while you're doing physical activity, but you put them back on afterwards. And she said, so you're saying if I just keep on my running clothes all day long, I don't have to wear my garments? And I said, you're picking it up. Yeah. You're picking it up.
See, I think I'd like her a lot because that's exactly the loophole I would find. I'm like, I'm either going to be at a pool. I'll go to a swimming pool all day long and be in my bathing suit, or go work out and just alternate the two.
Yeah. I remember looking at her going, you're onto something. You'll figure this out.
She's smart.
Yeah.
Smart cookie.
Yeah. I honestly don't know if she's still in the church or not, though. But that was an interesting moment as a never Mo who suddenly become Mormon out of nowhere, pulling me aside, going, "What's up with these garments?
Yeah, what's up with these garments?" Yeah, I didn't realize the garments were kind of a secret too. That people usually didn't tell their kids about it. And I accidentally, when we were first married, spilled the beans in front of my youngest, or his youngest, my stepson. He was, I think, 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And I just made a comment about them, and by the stunned, shocked look on his face, I felt bad instantly. I'm like, oh no, he doesn't know about them. And then we heard about that pretty quick because I spilled the beans. And so then he asked about them to your ex. Yeah, I don't know. The idea, again, being a never Mormon, the idea of having to wear underwear, like special underwear, long bloomer style underwear in this modern world, it just blew my mind. I thought, of course I thought it was weird and funny, but I do have a respect for religion and people's practices. I just think, why? We already live in Utah. It's already hotter than hell in the summer. I don't want to wear an extra layer under my clothes. That's got to be super uncomfortable.
You could if you're more spiritual, but
if I was just more, I heard they have come out with brand new snazzy garments for women. You can now show your shoulders.
That's right.
With reckless abandon. And if you buy them a couple sizes too small, you can wear regular shorts because they're nice. And I've heard all the tricks. I have a few friends that are in the church. So I don't know. I think I would have done what your sister-in-law did and just been in athletic gear all the time.
Yep. That's pretty much what she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much John had the Malaysian trip was awesome. We're gonna
Yeah.
have footage of that going so you
I got
guys
a
will
lot
get
of
to
video.
see.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for joining us. This is only our 4th episode. We hope to get much better
Yeah.
and much more interesting. And the quickest way for that to happen is for you guys to reach out to us. We'll have our email linked below. We are on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook under the Outer Darkness Happy Hour podcast. Have a bunch of drink videos already up. If you missed the first 3 episodes, you can still go watch those videos and try the drinks. They're pretty yummy. Got some new bartending gear, so the drinks are going to get a little bit fancier since now I'm making drinks for everybody watching me. I don't want to stir it with a chopstick anymore. So
That's what
now
we normally do. Is
that's what I've been
a
doing.
single
But I mean,
chopstick.
that's home drinks. But you know, it's nice to make these fun cocktails we wouldn't otherwise make. But yet, reach out to us. We want share your stories. It doesn't matter if it's a story about leaving the church or any religion, you know, or a crazy relationship and just kind of starting over in Utah. Tell us about why you love Utah, why you've stayed. If you have UFO stories, even better, because we love shows like the Y Files.
Yeah.
We are big into all that. It's super fun and interesting. And reach out with your favorite bars and pubs, like cocktail bars and things like that, because we are going to do lots of lives out in Salt Lake City, in Daybreak, where we live, where we want to showcase all of our local talent, and
Yeah.
we want to share those with you too. So yeah, please reach out.
We're gonna do lives as part of our Fast
Friday. Yes,
Fast Friday.
that starts in April. So
Yeah.
the first Friday in April, we're gonna go on location. We will post where on our socials, and we're gonna do some live interviews, chat with patrons, try out their signature cocktail. And if it's amazing, which I'm sure they will be, we will promote them and let you guys know. If you own a bar or a cocktail restaurant or new one, especially here in Daybreak where everything's kind of
Please
new,
invite us.
invite us over. We will showcase your place and put it everywhere and let all of our friends know about it too. So
Awesome.
yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy your Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.